Strenuousness of yesterday, and then some looked like pretty intense scrimmages today.
Yeah, we had a good practice. Scrimmages were good. Some good intensity in the scrimmages. It was a good day.
I know it's kind of probably foolish to read too much into line combinations on the first day of camp, but you've got Frost and Mitchkoff out there together. And what did you see from them in the scrimmage? It looked like they were kind of had some decent chemistry anyway.
Yeah, the lines aren't certainly what we did out there. It has nothing to do with. I'm not sure what we'll start with. But I thought everybody last year. I thought when we first started scrimmaging, we didn't have a whole hell of a lot of intensity. I thought today everybody brought that. Frost scores a nice goal. Yeah, so everybody. The first 2 days have been good.
Does it speak to the intensity you're looking for when you got two guys in Travis Konecny and Travis Sanheim who are best friends off the ice going at it? That's kind of what you want to see? It
doesn't surprise me. Yeah, it is. Yeah, they're both competitive. When you're playing a game, I think Sandy gave him a good whack, and yeah. So the thing I like about camp is I don't. So far in the first 2 days, even today we had quite a bit of skating. I just think they know. They just go and do it. There's no extra body language when they're done. They know they have to do it. And I think our camp now in 3 years has grown into let's just get it done and not be theatrical about it when you're done with it. It's part of the camp, and they know more is coming. And I just think I just like the feel of kind of a business-like attitude that they've had with it.
We talked to you at the end of last season. About the power play. You said part of the offseason you were going to talk to Danny Heatley, LeClaire, Patrick Sharp, other people in the organization to see what they thought of what you guys could do, change, tweak to make it better. What was sort of the fruits of those labors, and when you do get to putting the power play in and getting to work on it, what is going to be different or tweaked or? I'm
not giving you information. I'll give you the information that we did meet as a group. Sharpie, Heatley, Johnny LeClaire had a really good meeting, and I'll give you this: that will be a group, and I probably forgot a couple of people because it's a pretty big meeting. We're probably going to do that monthly. We'll set the parameter of the date based on our schedule, but I think we have some really good people in our organization that can give some ideas. Certainly ideas were thrown around, but I'm not going to get into what was talked about, what we're doing this year. I'm still just trying to get through camp here as far as 3 teams, 60-plus players, and go about it that way.
I guess just in a general term then, to have that many different voices come in, have you had that at any point in your coaching career?
I've never done it this way. I've never brought other people in other branches of the organization that's not with the coaching staff sit in a formal meeting. Danny was in it. Danny Briere is a resource right there, the way he played the game. And Jonesy was there. Yeah, so I thought Rocky was very well prepared. He showed, I'll give you this part of the meeting, he had video that he showed is kind of what his meetings are, how he goes about his meetings when we're playing against a particular team, the scouting report, and talked about some of the, what is the best position for this player. We threw around ideas for our team as far as where we felt best on a power play, where that guy would sit. So those are all things we threw around. I thought it was very productive, and we're going to continue doing it through the year.
Maybe line up like certain guys playing together, or how do you determine your group?
I try to spread out into 3 groups. Try to spread out the national hockey leagues that are a big part of our team on 3 teams. Let's say 3 lines. You throw them out there and you split them up onto the teams, and some of the guys I don't even know. But you split them up by position. I try to get them in their position, especially for the kids and some of the youth that are just here. So then they're not playing in an opposition. We ended up with an odd number of forwards this year for the scrimmage games. Like Danny said, he says we've collected more assets and that means more people come to camp. I'm not crazy about how big the camp is, but when you're building and you collect assets and more draft picks, that creates what we have. And but to divvy up the teams, it's just trying to split out what we feel the National Hockey League group is amongst the three groups, and then fill in the blanks from there.
Are you a clean slate kind of guy?
Who?
Are you clean slate, like training camp starts, a new training camp, clean slate, whatever the past is the past?
Oh God, yeah. I mean, when you say clean slate, usually when you say clean slate, are you still mad at that guy? I'm not that way. It's not a clean slate as far as the bank account you have with me. What Tip has done, what Forrest has done. I certainly have to see progression. When everybody when that question's asked is, are you still going to grind? Does he have a chance, or is he still in your doghouse? There's no doghouse. There really never is. But no, I'm anxious to see. I'm not going to name names right now, but after 2 days and some guys that I've never really seen before, I want to see some guys. I'm anxious to see Luchenko play in some exhibition games, and I'm anxious to see Bonk get back in there and play some. And so there's been a couple of surprises for me, and we'll talk about that along the way. But they'll play too.
You've been able to watch Mitch Kopp a little bit more now. I mean,
No, I really haven't watched him much. Yeah, I think he's in. I'll let you ask the question, Jack. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I was just gonna say, have you been able to see, kind of what Dan was saying earlier, the hype of who he is and what he brings and how we can maybe.
He's got some personality, right? He played with some personality out at that the rookie game. So yeah, I like players with personality. Sometimes it goes the wrong way with a coach and a player, but at least it's personality. I think it's boring sometimes in this league where there's no personality within guys. He does. You can see the puck follows him. He's skilled. You can see that. So yeah, the hype. I'll tell you right now, the hype's going to be controlled by me because he's 19 years old. You guys aren't getting him every day. It's not going to be the me show because I think it's unfair to him, and I'm going to watch that very closely because I want to give him every opportunity to get his feet planted in here and go about it the right way.
You've got two defensemen that obviously they're going to be in your top six, but they're coming off pretty significant injuries in Ristolainen and Jamie Drysdale. Are they moving around? Like it looked like Risto today was
Risto was all over the place. Yeah. I think it's really important that we get Risto to play more games in the regular season. He was the most improved player for me my first year. I know everybody, like I said, the first year, you guys are up his ass all the time about he's overpaid, he's this, that, the other thing. He was our most improved player my first year. We need him to play and stay healthy. And I think he's done some. I think he's had a better summer conditioning-wise. The circumstance was just better for him to get better conditioning, and he looks good. Big right-handed D. God, we need him. And Jamie looks free. We all know how great a skater he is. He just looks more confident in his skating. As I've said, we got a lot of work to do with him as far as being a pro, all the things we need to do in teaching his demeanor and how he goes about it. But to get, knock on wood, that he stays healthy, he's a very important guy for our organization.
A lot of guys have said that, they've really focused on working out, putting on weight, and just, physically improving over the summer. Have you noticed any players in particular that look stronger, faster, just more
Yorkie.
powerful? Yeah.
You saw him just now. I'm not sure if he can carry the weight. I'm not sure. I think he was. I think he's 205. I'm not sure what he finished at. He looks bigger, I know he's bigger. He's stronger. Sandy came in last year. Remember, he came in last year and was stronger, and he just kind of mentally he took off. I'm really anxious to see how Cam handles his weight, and he's the only one that's going to be able to determine that as we start the season. So he looks good. I haven't really. I saw Yorkie during the summer quite a bit, so I could see that. I haven't really seen anything significant from other guys. But the thing I'm happy about is just what I said to you before, is I think it's business. It's a group that we do this. This is how we do it here. And I think there's that type of, you can feel the tightness already. What it transforms into, I don't know. But I just like the general attitude as we've gone through the first 2 days here.
Frost has showed, he flashes a couple times in the scrimmage, but I thought a couple times he really looked strong on the boards, winning puck battles. Do you notice a different player there, a guy that's going to compete in those areas?
Well, that's the biggest thing with Frosty and I. The up and down we go with is being ready, being consistent. Important guy, up the middle, a position that we're still trying to find our way with. He makes plays. Has gone through it. Has slowly gotten better. I think it's a really big year for him. I really do. I think he's improved, which is really good. But I want to see him in more of a consistent take charge type guy, not with his mouth, with his play. And we've got to get away from that. We've got to get this, and especially at that position for the Philadelphia Flyers.
To pop a little bit during the scrimmages was Lixell in terms of play with the puck.
Yeah.
He's coming up on a camp where he's 25,
Yeah.
no longer waiver exempt. Do you get the sense that at least today he seems to understand how big this is for him to carve out a spot?
Yeah, he knows he's on the cusp, right? He's been up and down and played a little bit, and really good player down the American League. So it's a big year for him, and it's crazy. You talk about 25, 26-year-olds, they're getting old, right? And that's the way it is. That's getting old, and you need to make your move now. And I think he looks in really good shape. So yeah, he's a guy he's on my board as far as where we are with the lineup. Where it all goes is going to depend on him and how he goes through the preseason and as we start the year.
With Jamie and the teaching element that you mentioned, he said he stayed here through April all the way through till now.
Mm-hmm.
Did that help at all as far as, I don't know if you were in town or if Brad was in
Mm-hmm.
town to work with him, and did you see that sort of growth from the teaching side of how you want him to be?
I didn't. Shawsey didn't teach him. I didn't teach him. But he spent the summer here with our strength guys, and I thought that was very important. It was one of the busiest summers. Like my strength guys, my equipment guys, and my medical guys really had no time off because there were so many guys here, which is a really good sign for our organization. Everybody has their own people, their own entourage nowadays here. But we want him with us, especially with an injury like that, especially how many injuries he's had in such a young career. So we certainly brought it to his attention at the end of the year that this was a very big summer for him, and we wanted our hands on him. Stayed in here, did his work. He looks different to me. He looks more confident, and a really important few months that I thought he did his work, and our people did it with him. I thought it was very important for him. Coaching hockey, I didn't talk one thing. I saw him during the summer, didn't talk about hockey. Talked about just making sure how to take care of himself and get into an area of conditioning where he's not chasing the game, and especially at that position.